Okay, this is Advanced Math 8.4 Notes. Difference Quotient is the title. First thing we're going to do is review from previous math classes. Given f of x equals 5x minus 2. This is number one. F of x equals 5x minus 2. We are going to find f of 3. I'm hoping by now everyone in this class knows that does not mean f times 3. That means you plug 3 in for what? X. So do that now. Now, when I do it, don't do it in your head. I want you to do it just like this because we're going to get to some harder ones. Even though, how many of you can do that in your head? 5 times 3, take away 2. Okay, I still want you to set it up this way. 5 blank minus 2. I've called that the skeleton of the problem. Like before you fill in all the pieces, the meaty pieces. What do I fill in for that blank where x used to be? 3. And then you work it out. That part you can do in your head. What's 5 times 3? And 15 take away 2. Okay, but I do want that piece written down. This piece can be done in your head if you choose. Okay, part B, find f of A. So set it up again, 5 blank minus 2. What goes in the blank where the x used to be? A. Because I'm finding f of A. Do you guys see the difference, the similarities? This one I plugged in what? For A I plugged in, for B I'm plugging in A. Okay, I see where you guys were saying 13. I didn't mean like that, it's just the letter A. Okay, so sorry for the confusion. All right, so what's 5 times A? 5A, and 5A minus 2 is just that. 5A minus 2. Got it? Oh. Letter C. Was there a question?
No.
Okay. Find, here, this is the part that's going to lead into what we're doing today. F of x plus h. And part of B as well, the f of A ones. But x plus h we're going to be doing a lot of. Equals 5 blank minus 2. I'm going to leave this blank a little bit bigger only because I'm plugging more in. And this time what goes into the blank where the x used to be? X plus h. Distribute your 5x plus what? Minus 2. Any like terms? All right, then that there is your answer. Questions? All right. Okay, number 2, find the difference quotient and simplify. This comes up on today's assignment. Of course, you will see it again on the quiz. Okay, so what did I say? Find the difference quotient and simplify. Okay, number 2, f of x equals 5x minus 2. So we're going to start off with the basic one first. This is number 2. Yes, f of x equals 5x minus 2. Is that what we started with up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Comma, here's the difference quotient. Now, the difference quotient will always be given to you. You don't have to worry about trying to memorize any kind of formula. So here it is. F of x plus h, close parentheses, minus f of x close parentheses, fraction h. Okay, this here is the difference quotient. That is not a formula you have to memorize. It sometimes changes a little. For example, the next one, instead of x plus h, is 2 plus h. Instead of f of x, it's f of 2. So these little bits and pieces will change sometimes, but do you have to worry about memorizing them? No, they'll be given to you every single time. Okay, now this, what does difference mean? Add or subtract? Subtract, do you see the subtraction there? That will always happen. What does quotient mean? Multiply or divide? Do you see the fraction for division? That will always happen. It's always going to be a fraction with the subtraction in the numerator. Okay, so because it's a fraction, we do have this restriction. You don't have to worry about, oh, I have to remember that. It's going to be given to you. Why is that? Why do we say h cannot equal 0? Because h exists in the denominator. Got it? Okay, so here is what we do. Make a big fraction. H is in the denominator. And this piece, you know what? Instead of a box, I'm going to use big parentheses. Exaggerated parentheses. And then we're going to fill in those exaggerated parentheses. I usually make my second one smaller because this bigger, the first one's bigger, the second one's smaller. Okay, so in both of these parentheses, I'm going to set up the skeleton for f of x. So 5 blank minus 2 is going in the first one. And 5 blank minus 2 is going in the second one. That will always happen. You set your skeleton up in each parentheses. All right. In the first parentheses, what am I plugging in? That's this one right here. What am I plugging in where the x used to be? X plus h. In the second one, that is this one right here. What am I plugging in where the x used to be? Does that really just stay the same, 5x minus 2? Makes sense, because f of x should be f of x, and it stays 5x minus 2. Okay, so on the first one, we're going to distribute the 5 like we did earlier. What did that give us? 5x plus 5h minus 2. And this is just 5x minus 2, but what am I going to do with this negative? Minus 5x plus 2. Now simplify. That means combine like terms, factor, and reduce. What are my like terms here? And what happens to those? What else? What other like terms do I have? Do those cancel out as well? So I end up with 5h over h. Do I have to factor anything to reduce? Not on this one. It just reduces to what? And as long as it's, actually I don't have to worry about the h does not equal 0. That's just given to you. Okay, and that's it. 5 is the answer. Now, sometimes it doesn't always come out to just be one number. Sometimes it's like h plus 3 or h minus 7. In this case, it's just 5. Questions? I'm hoping this one made even just a smidge bit of sense because this is the easier of the ones we're going to see. Did it make sense? Okay. All right, number 3. Does anybody need that up just a smidge bit longer before I move over? No? Okay. Number 3, f of x equals x squared minus x minus 4. So they're always going to give you an original function, and then they'll give you the difference quotient, and here it is. F of 2 plus h minus f of 2 over h. Is it just a smidge bit different than number 1? Yeah, but do you have to memorize it? No. The function will always be given to you, and the difference quotient will always be given to you. And then h cannot equal 0. Okay, so big exaggerated parentheses, that will not be in there. You have to add those yourself. Fraction, h, big exaggerated parentheses, minus big exaggerated parentheses. And then I set up the skeleton for this here is the difference quotient. We're kind of plugging things in all over the place. This is the difference quotient, kind of like the skeleton of the difference quotient. And then inside, I set up the skeleton of my f of x. So blank squared minus blank minus 4, blank squared minus blank minus 4. Do you guys see the skeleton for the f of x function here and here? Why? Because that's where it has the f functions, in my first big parentheses and my second. Okay, in the first one, what am I going to plug in where all the blanks are? 2 plus h. In the second one, what am I going to plug in where all the blanks are? 2. Okay, any questions on why the first big parentheses has 2 plus h's and the second big parentheses has just 2? Okay, 2 plus h, 2. Do you guys see it? All right, here's where the extra work comes in. Are you guys ready? This part right here is pretty easy. -2 minus h. That you can distribute easily. Here, do I distribute the exponent or do I write 2h plus twice and double distribute? Double distribute. I'm going to write it up here, 2 plus h, for you visual people to double distribute. Do that now on the next line. Can any of you do that all in one step in your head? 4 plus 2h plus 2h would be 4h plus h squared. Hello, Mrs. Torres. Okay, thank you. Alejandra? Google Classroom for the notes for this one and the next one. Oh, handout for the next one. I might as well give that to you now. Dolan, can you pass that back, please? Thank you. Okay. Any questions on where we got the 4 plus 4h plus h squared? Okay. Minus what? Minus 2 minus h in the very end minus 4. Okay. I'm going to finish this off. Minus parentheses. What's 2 squared? You know what? We can just, are you guys okay if we distribute now? Yes or no? Distribute. What's 2 squared? 4. So minus 4. Minus 2 or plus 2? And at the very end? Okay. You guys can combine like terms first or just cross things out right away. For example, what's going to happen with that 4 and that negative 4? Okay, and then I have another negative 4 here and positive 4 there. Will those two also cancel out? Okay. And then I have a positive 2 and a negative 2. Will those cancel out? Okay, so again, you can combine all your constant like 4 plus 4 plus 4 minus 4 minus 4 plus 2 minus 2, or just do what I just did now. Find the pairs that are opposites. That will always happen. You will always cross things out first. Okay, does anything else cross out? Or can we combine terms though? Okay, so 4h and negative h. 3h and what else? H squared? So you could put 3h plus h squared or h squared plus 3h, doesn't matter. Okay, I put h squared plus 3h. If you put 3h plus h squared, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to reduce yet. I have to do what first? Factor out a GCF of h, leaving me behind with h plus 3 all over h. Now, things that will happen every time. Things will cancel out, and you will always be able to reduce. At the end, either straight reduce or factor and reduce. That h will always reduce. If it doesn't, you got to go back and double check your work. What is our final answer? H plus 3. How did you get? That's it for the lesson. How was it? Hard, easy, not too bad?
That's it.
That's it.